The trial of the year, if not the decade, begins and is happening right now. Even its beginning turned out somewhat harsh, in the style of cinema, with the disappearance of an important witness. Prosecutors in court openly accused the main antagonist of recent times of intimidation and threats. Those who know the story understand how important this is here. Those who don't will understand. New details that emerged recently and right in court. In general, everyone will be bewildered at minimum, shocked at maximum. And 50 years plus life imprisonment for Diddy. This isn't fantasy, but real forecasts that are now sounding everywhere, even in court. And here's why. Sean Combs, let's say, finally made headlines last fall when he was arrested. But the totality of all accusations and investigations, this is a separate dark world. Let's quickly, to somehow bring you up to speed and remind someone, especially since new facts have appeared. The first media blow will be that same already famous video from the Intercontinental Hotel, recorded back in 2016. On it, Diddy quite harshly beats his former wife, Cassie Ventura. Then, according to CNN information, Combs paid $50,000 to have the recording deleted, but somehow it didn't work out. Literally, right after publication, he will record a repentance video. Already for many, it became clear what kind of person this is, who cannot control himself in a public place under cameras. Not even control himself, but simply not beat his girlfriend. If he does this under cameras, then what happens when nobody sees this? And this video will be shown at today's trial as important evidence of his insanity and, generally speaking, lies. Although the process should have started earlier, back in 23rd year, then the former girlfriend will sue the rapper for abuse over 10 years. In response, Diddy's people will accuse her of extorting $30 million and say their client is not guilty of anything. Many immediately had thoughts that the girl really decided to make money, otherwise why wouldn't she leave earlier? And here are 3 points immediately. She herself spoke about being afraid of him. And, well, this really happens in relationships. What can you do? First, where is at least one proof of blackmail? Well, correspondence or conversation recording should be simple. Well, somehow not serious. Especially since the sum of $30 million is named specifically. Second, right after the lawsuit, the case was settled out of court. Why, if the rapper is right? Third, that same video will surface and evidence from other people. Then, after publicity about his possible criminal activity, accusations will pour like hail, both general and quite specific. 2 victims will tell about approximately the same thing, that back in early 90s, Diddy drugged them with substances and raped them. Only one of the women will be reached by a musician who will tell that Diddy showed videos with her to everyone right at the studio. Videos, you understand, of what nature? And this will become one of the main accusations against Diddy and, incidentally, his possible tool. And an important witness will be musician Rodney Jones, also known as Lil Rod, who worked with Diddy. 105 pages of accusations. According to him, the rapper inclined the artist to contact with sex workers and mixed substances. By the way, his former said, everything is identical. And with unwillingness to do this through threats of intimidation, the musician even named the liquor brand, which Diddy treated women with and in which he mixed substances. He also long ago spoke about those same parties. The musician claimed there were minors there. And these are the most unpleasant stories. Well, to summarize Jones's case, Diddy's lawyers naturally call him a fraud. He, in turn, says that Diddy's people are pursuing his relatives, including his daughter. And the court already rejected part of accusations toward Combs. That's how. A truly monstrous story that's even disgusting to read. By the way, on English language resources, there are dozens of them, but on the same Vulture, the 2005 story particularly stands out. According to the victim's version, he met Diddy when he was 10 years old. The circumstances of acquaintance aren't so important here. Diddy's assistant took the boy to an audition at Combs' hotel. They, according to his claims, listened to several songs, after which the rapper gave the boy soda to drink in his best traditions. Then he relaxed, and then he lost consciousness. Waking up, he, well, let's say, felt pain in certain places. Just a nightmare, if this is true. And there are very many such accusations. There's no point in retelling them all. You understood the essence. Simply, these things happened at different times with different people slightly under differing circumstances, especially since society's main claims against him are his white parties. After such scandal, even Timati told about being at his parties, said there were world stars there, but nothing forbidden, and especially children weren't there. Good that he didn't invent what wasn't there. But Andrea English, dancer and adult actress, repeatedly worked there, and she told that parties often divided into 2 parts. First, from mass is everything beautiful, smooth, sometimes even with charity. Second, closed, where all this could happen, and where, of course, the guest list already significantly narrowed. Participants were in white, workers in black. She confirms that horror, which dozens of witnesses speak about, and also accuses Combs of violence against her, and, of course, recording this on camera for purposes of further blackmail. Her accusation is also hundreds of pages, by the way, the largest. This, by the way, is not an uncommon story when people in charity are not for good considerations, and even fighters against drugs turn out to be drug addicts and drug dealers. I don't believe in Diddy's sincere charity at all. Well, it can't be that with one hand you beat, intimidate, blackmail people, including close ones, and with the other, you're so generally caring about problems of other people in need. Well, here directly, reputation whitening is obvious. Dozens of celebrities from Will Smith to DiCaprio will pass through his parties. Even members of British royal family will be under reputational attack. He's been close to Beyonce and Jay-Z for several decades, who also went to his parties. So this trio was accused of murdering popular singer Aaliyah, who was then Beyonce's competitor. And J. Cole, in the song She Knows, openly hints at this. And incidents with singers who took awards instead of Beyonce. Taylor Swift wasn't allowed to take the award by Kanye, who ran on stage, and Adele herself refused the award in favor of Beyonce. Well, at least she's alive. But somehow strangely, nobody refuses their awards in favor of Rihanna or Ariana Grande, but in favor of Beyonce this somehow happens. She seems not against it. And generally, everyone somehow fawns before her and Jay-Z. Justin Bieber generally became one of key figures. He's been under Diddy's wing since childhood, and his videos and backstage with him directly openly scream about violence. Bieber was silent, despite everyone trying to support him, as if not doubting that violence was, he was silent and remains silent until now. Only some close people, seemingly in English language sources, say that everything was always good and there was no violence, and the most powerful and at the same time subtle hints were given by Eminem, who just never was in Diddy's crowd. This excerpt from our video spreads so much across the network that I'll just remind you these lines again. They're so powerful. And here we get such an open secret. Stars are silent, Diddy is in prison, but everyone understands everything, as if footage appeared on the network of Combs riding around prison on a bike. 50 Cent, before the trial, started trolling him hard on social media. Victim number 3 didn't make contact before court session. Most likely reason, fear for her safety. In general, Diddy was refused house arrest under huge bail precisely because of pressure on witnesses. Judges openly speak about this, and beautiful words that he's not guilty of anything nobody perceives anymore. But even without the missing witness, here I'm even saying this as if I'm retelling a plot. But no matter, even without him, there are dozens of accusations, plus more than 100 people who are preparing to sue him with accusations of different nature. So also a couple news stories that will harshly spoil his situation in court. Immediately, 2 former assistants gave testimony against Sean. Philip Pines sued him. The former rapper employee claims that he by order prepared these same parties with alcohol, with masks, forbidden substances. True, he himself should fall under the article then, simply by logic. Also, he was ordered to personally clean rooms after such parties, including from bottles of baby oil, so hotel workers wouldn't see this. Pines tells that Diddy forced him too into intimacy with a woman. And also he saw how Combs beat a person. Damn, there's a feeling that Diddy forced everyone around him to sex on camera. Second assistant George Kaplan already gave testimony in court. He noticed repeated beating of Cassie by Diddy, and another female worker said that his former girlfriend after violence had a beaten face, but she didn't turn to authorities due to fear for her life. From Diddy's side, as always, everyone was accused of wanting to profit from an honest rapper's name. All in the same English language resources, you can find court proceedings almost by hours. But going to lunch break isn't as interesting. Unlike testimony of famous rapper Kid Cudi. Him, of course, Diddy didn't incline anywhere. But in 2011, Kid dated Cassie, Diddy's former. There, the story is generally confusing. In the end, in court, they agreed that she was with both. But now not about this. The rapper said that Diddy that year broke into Cudi's house and abused his dog, which after this incident became jerky and nervous. And a bit later, they set fire to his Porsche. Therefore, defending against such accusations, the lawyer stated the following: Diddy is an imperfect person, but he's not a criminal. At one of the sessions, prosecutors reported that in the house was found a personalized briefcase with substances, pills, packets with powder, weapons, bag with cash, ropes, stripper shoes, and several bottles of baby oil. Strange that all this isn't in a helicopter. 75 ampules of mescaline, 5 packets of diethylamide lysergic acid. I repeat, accusations are so serious that he was refused release on $50 million bail with GPS tracker and strict restrictions. The prosecutor stated that Diddy's threats affect both accusers and witnesses. And how can you believe when his lawyers in that story with the former said that this is all nonsense, lies, and that she just wants to profit? But then both witness testimony and testimony of famous rapper and damn video, well, where's more proof? As the classic would say, he's caught like a cheapskate. And what? Does someone really think that after this proof and other accusations, testimonies this was once? And the silence of world stars who were with him at parties and who figured indirectly confirms only one thing: fear. Here, 100% there are no other options. Naturally, Diddy rejected all accusations as he always did. However, the number of witnesses, accusers, and pages of the case pulls not for one person's crime, but for activity of some large organized crime group. Not surprising that Cuddy called him a supervillain from Marvel Universe. He himself arrived in court in white sweater, hugged these same lawyers, and thanked the support group. Yes, he has one. Real numbers that sound in forecasts regarding Diddy from 15 to 50 years. And media, in turn, write about life imprisonment too. Parties were organized both in hotels across America and even abroad. In Diddy's hands are gigabytes, if not terabytes, of compromising material on workers, random victims, and most likely famous and influential people. If at least part of accusations are proven, the term will be huge. I just understand that actually we don't even guess who's involved in this, who benefits from closing him, removing him, and who maybe wants him to get out. And this is clearly a battle not only of Diddy, but also those who probably still stand behind the scenes of this, but whose names we don't know. Maybe we'll learn later. What do you think? Will he get a term? Or maybe won't wait for the verdict at all? Such stories also were. Or maybe we'll get out altogether. In such case, I think this will be the most shameful trial. But relatively soon, we should still learn the outcome. I'll just remind that if you like such operative format with quick, clear information that comes out operatively, just support the video with a like and subscribe to the channel with a bell. Thanks for watching. Stay connected. And of course, don't go to dubious events.